And like I tell you guys, everything begins with and ends with aqidah, aqidah, aqidah. Our belief system, our belief system, our belief system. If our belief system is not correct, then none of our good deeds are accepted. A question I had a few years ago that Muslims had asked me about. I haven't heard that question anymore, but they used to ask me about a person like Mother Teresa. Who was this Mother Teresa? She was some Catholic woman that supposedly devoted her life to charity. She took care of the orphans. She was always helping the children, the poor, the desolate, and all of that. You know, this Christian Catholic woman who was really a pagan, because the Catholics, they worship idols. They're pagans. But anyway, I remember a lot of Muslims had asked me years ago when she died. They said, "Oh, Layla, what's going to happen to Mother Teresa? She did so much for the poor, for the homeless, for the children. She's a saint." They made a saint out of her. I said, "She's going to burn, baby, burn with disco fever." I said, "She's going to be with John Travolta and Olivia if they don't convert. They're going to be doing disco fever together." They said, "But all the good deeds she did." And I remember I had to tell them, what does Allah say? Anyone who dies upon a way other than Islam, it will never be accepted of them. And all your good deeds are like a mirage. They're nothing. And we can't say that she didn't know about Islam, because Mother Teresa traveled in a circle with a lot of Muslims. She went to a lot of Muslim countries. You know, she traveled to a lot of Muslim countries, calling herself helping the orphans and giving her form of dawah. Yeah, Mother Teresa gave dawah too. She was trying to call the people to Catholicism. So we can't say she didn't know about Islam. She did. But she still chose to worship what she'd worship. And you have to understand, guys, Allah is clear. Allah is clear. He will not accept any way other than the way of Islam, which means total submission to him. And I remember when I gave that answer, those young brothers could not accept it. They said, "Oh, she was too good." Well, this is something that a lot of Muslims, even back in the time of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, had a problem accepting. Look at Abu Talib. Abu Talib was just like Mother Teresa. He worshipped idols just like she did. He prayed to idols just like she did. He helped the orphans too. He helped the homeless too. He protected the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But where did Allah say he is? He's in hell, in hell, in hell. You know, so as Muslims, we have to accept the reality. It's all about having the proper belief system. And a lot of people say, "Layla, you're so harsh." I am not harsh. It's the truth. We cannot sugarcoat the deen. Allah doesn't sugarcoat the deen. The Prophet Muhammad didn't sugarcoat the deen. We can't sit here and change Allah's rules and laws just to pacify weak-minded people. The truth always hurts. The truth has always been a bitter pill for man to swallow. There's no nice way of saying that you're gonna go to hell if you take on any way other than Islam. That's just the truth. Whether you like it or not, shake it up, bake it, it's the same way. Hello? And that's what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to learn, and he accepted that. He accepted that about his uncle, who he loved like a parent. He also had to learn that reality again when he went to the grave of his mother. When the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam visited the grave of his mother, he prayed for forgiveness. But what did Allah say? Allah sent the bitter truth to him again. You cannot pray for forgiveness for a person that's already in hell. Your mother, your father, they were pagans too. And they will be in hell, in hell, in hell. They chose to worship idols. Just like Mother Teresa did. Just like Abu Talib did. Just like many of you are choosing to do. Okay? That's the outcome. Allah was clear. So I want everyone here to understand, you may look at me as being harsh because I get these emails all the time. Oh, Sister Layla, you're so harsh. I'm sorry. I am not harsh. I am truthful and I am honest. And the truth is and always has been a bitter pill for us to swallow. Y'all understand that? You can't censor me. I am over 60 years old. My mother ain't been able to censor me. If my mother can't censor me, what makes you guys think that I'm going to change at over 60 years old? I'm going to start becoming Mutazila and sugarcoating this deen. I don't do that. I'm going to always teach you the truth, guys. I'm going to always give you the truth. And I want y'all to remember this other hadith that we talked about in our hadith class. A lot of people ask, Sister Layla, how do we know? What are some signs that I might be a believer? Only Allah knows who the true believers are. We all strive and aspire to be believers. But only Allah knows who the true believers are. But he told us there are signs we can look for within ourselves. Our Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, said the believer is just a human being. They can make mistakes like anyone else. Even our prophet made mistakes. He turned away from the blind man. Okay? But one thing that a believer can never, ever, ever do is lie. Look within yourself. The believer can do any sin. They can even get weak and fornicate. They can get weak and adulterate. But one thing that a believer can never, ever, ever do is tell a lie or be dishonest. So I want you, brothers and sisters, to look at yourselves and ask yourselves, are you honest or are you dishonest? Do you sugarcoat to people? Because that's what dishonest people do. Dishonest people sugarcoat the deen. Dishonest people sugarcoat the truth. You will never find Layla doing that. And that's something that I've always held great about myself because I have a lot to work on. But one thing about me, I can't lie. I cannot be dishonest. I cannot steal. I cannot cheat. When I used to be at the job at work, when I used to work before I retired, people would take stuff. You know, body wash, deodorant, toothbrushes, because sometimes, you get an overflux of that stuff. We get the stock for the clients and they'd have all this toothpaste, mouthwash, deodorant. A lot of people didn't think anything of it. They would take some deodorant after they gave it to the clients rather than turn the stuff back in, because we're supposed to turn the leftovers or the back in. Some people wouldn't think. They just say, I need some of that deodorant. Give it here. Let me have some of that toothpaste. And they take it home. I never could do that. They say, Miss Layla, don't you want some deodorant? Here's some toothbrushes. No, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Always felt that I'd get caught and I'd go to jail. And I always said, I can't go to jail because I know that the prisons, because I was a union steward, I had to go into the corrections and represent people. We had to do arbitrations and mediations. Those prisons were cold. They were colder than where I worked. All the facilities are cold. But those places were too cold. And I used to say, I can't do no time. It's too cold. My arthritis, I died. My knees couldn't take it. So I was always too afraid that I'd get caught and they'd throw my behind in jail. So I could never take no deodorant, no toothpaste. I mean, I just couldn't do it, you know. And I'm the same way when it comes to this dean. You know, can't nobody change me. First of all, I'm too old. I'm over 60. I am 62 years old, people. I got 2 feet in the grave. I could die tonight in my sleep. I'm an old woman. The prophet said the lifespan of our nation is only 60 years. Well, Allah gave me 2 extra. What I look like? Trying to sugarcoat and lie and change myself to become pleasing to people now if I ain't changed all this time. So I'm sorry. It's not my job as a daya to sugarcoat the deen to you. I am not going to sit up in here and tell you that you can be a Christian and go to paradise when Allah clearly tells us that's nonsense. I am not going to sit here and censor myself and not use the word kafir. Kafir is an Arabic word that means unbeliever. And an unbeliever is an unbeliever. It's not a bad word. You Muslims act like I'm cursing because I say the word kafir. Allah uses the word kafir 1,000,000 times in the Quran. Okay? So I'm not going to change my dawah. I've been giving dawah most all my life since I was 12 years old. I am 62 now. I've been teaching this religion longer than many of you have been living on this earth. My whole life was teaching Islam. I am not going to change my dawah methods now that I'm half dead. Just because the Muslims today are weaker. Because the prophet said every generation becomes weaker than the previous one. The Muslims living on earth today are the weakest. I am not going to change my dawah method just to appease people because they're weaker now than they were 60 years ago. Sorry, Charlie, wrong daya. And y'all know I don't care about numbers. I don't care about subscriptions because I've been giving dawah longer than all those brothers y'all know on the internet. Longer than all of them. I was the first website to use voice technology. Hello. That's a fact. It's in the books. So if you want to get sugar-coated, you want the deen sugar-coated to you, there's literally a million YouTube channels to go listen to. But if you want the truth, the unadulterated truth, stay tuned. Okay? All right. So, Aqidah, our belief system is everything as Muslims, guys. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, encouraged us to do a lot of self-evaluation. He encouraged us to check our belief system, to maintain that certainty of faith. He told us that it's our certainty of faith that'll get us through the hard times. It's our certainty of faith that'll get us through the hiccups in life. So that's why here at Sunnahfollowers, we focus more on Aqidah than anything else. Most of the classes here center around Aqidah, belief, and Seerah. Okay? Because you have to know about the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in order to love him. Just like Aqidah teaches us, Aqidah includes Tawheed, which is belief in the oneness of Allah. How can you love Allah if you don't know about him? Well, the same with the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How can you love a person that you don't know anything about? So that's why the second thing we focus on is the Sunnah here. The Sunnah and Sirah. That's all you need to know, really, to get into paradise. Your Aqidah. The Prophet said anyone with an ounce of Aqidah will eventually be removed from the hellfire. So Aqidah is that important. If you do end up in hell because you smoked marijuana, you fornicated, you adulterated and all of that, if you have 1 ounce of true belief that of la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, you'll come out. But for the believer, we strive to not do no time in hell at all. That's the difference. The mere Muslim may commit sins, whereas the believer will, inshallah, never, ever, ever deliberately commit a sin because he fears that he don't want to do even a second in the hellfire. Everybody got that? So for this class, we've been focusing in on the last few chapters of the book written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid entitled Diluting Wal Bara. And we're almost at the end of volume 1 because, like I told you, those last chapters really are a preparation for the second volume of the book. So for those of you who have not yet bought the book, please get it. Okay. And you need to get volume 2 too. Volume 2, and you can purchase the book by going to Amazon. Okay, and it's entitled Diluting Wal Bara, Volume 1, and get Volume 2. And it's written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. That's his name spelled there. $19.99 is what both books cost. Okay, they should be a part of every Muslim's library on planet Earth. Seriously. I've been teaching Aqidah and Tawheed on the internet since 1986. You guys know that. And I've always used my PowerPoints, which consisted of the notes, of my teachers who are no longer with us, except for Sheikh Morsi, may Allah bless him. Okay. But now, alhamdulillah, because the books that I were taught from were in Arabic, and they were translated to me into English by translators. But alhamdulillah, Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid has taken these books of Arabic and put them in English. And I'm telling you guys, I've been teaching and been Muslim all my life. These are the best books I've ever read in English that break down La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These books are the criterion of Ibn Taymiyyah, the Awliya of Allah that I've been teaching since 86, and the Awliya of Shaitan. All of that is in this. Okay? So you want to buy these 2 books. They should be a part of your library. And also, what I've been telling you guys to do, those of you who are new here, to do what my students have been doing. When I put the screen up and start teaching, take a screenshot of my PowerPoints and my highlights. So that way, at the end of the class, you can print them out from your phone and then staple them together and have a booklet. And I've been putting the pages on each one. So today, for example, we'll be covering pages 342 through 345 of volume 1, Diluting Wal Bara. So you're going to screenshot my PowerPoints and then print them out, staple them together, and then clip them to page 342 of the book. So that way, when you review with your children, because that's what I hope you women do, you sit down with your children. My Sunnahfollower kids are already here. Their parents make them attend class. But if you want to teach your children, you will have my notes, my PowerPoints, and the hadiths that I add, because I do add a lot of hadiths, to help illustrate what Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid is saying here, because hadith is my thing. That's my thing. I memorized them all by heart, the whole sitter, all sitter, and also history is my thing. So I might add some more stuff to it, and I try to help it to relate to what we're facing today. So you'll have all that on that PowerPoint. And when you review this with your family, and by the way, I hope you guys are still doing what we talked about last Ramadan. We're supposed to be having family meetings once a month, once a week, or once a month. How many of you are still holding family meetings? When you hold your family meetings, you can review these pages. You can go over these Wal Bara with your family, with your kids and your husbands. Because some of your husbands don't know the religion. Y'all know that. Hello, let's just get real. I ain't sugarcoating. Some of you sisters are married to knuckleheads. Maybe this will make him stop being a knucklehead. Maybe it'll put some fear in his heart. Make him start doing the religion the right way. Instead of all that crazy stuff that y'all emailing me about what your husband's doing. It's ridiculous. And by the way, you brothers need to leave that marijuana alone. What's wrong with Muslim men smoking marijuana? Lord have mercy. Signs of the last hour. Sex, intoxicants will increase. I never knew so many Muslims who smoke marijuana. And it stinks. It's so, how can y'all smoke that crap? But anyway, so make sure y'all screenshot everything and staple it together and attach it to the pages of the book. So that way, when you review it, you will have the notes there. Okay, so with that said, let's get started. And I forgot I got Zoom. Am I logged in twice on Zoom? No, hold on. Let me get my students set up. I got to use all these computers because of my students join me here. Okay, hold on. Let me take off the audio. Co-host. Okay, so now I'm on Zoom. And for today, for the people of Zoom, I'm going to share you guys with the people on Twitch. Okay, I'm going to share the Zoom people. With the people on Twitch. I think. I might put you back on Instagram, though. No, wait, let me see. Twitch is pretty cool, though. I got moderators in Twitch. Let me make sure. Let me see. I don't get complaints about any bad behavior on Twitch. No, it's telling me to sign in. I ain't got time to sign in. I'm going to share you guys on Instagram. Okay, with Instagram. Because this other computer hasn't signed in to Twitch. Let me put you on Instagram. Instagram. There we go. It wants me to sign in, but logging into Instagram is easy. Just click this. All right. Okay. Okay, so everybody here, let me take everything down because I want you to be able to screenshot the pages. So I'm getting ready to take everything down so it won't be in the way. I'm going to take this down too. Everybody got the name of the book? I'll take it down. Okay. Let me go large. Oh, I made it large. Oh, I need to fix myself up. Hello. Okay. All right. Okay. This is Instagram. Okay. You guys are going to see me with the people on Zoom first. Just bear with us. Okay. That's Instagram. Yeah, you can join Instagram. Just my name, lailanasheeba, and I can see what you type. Brother Isa, assalamu alaikum, Brother Isa. He's always on Instagram. May Allah bless you, Brother Isa, for listening, joining the classes on a regular basis. I really hope you're benefiting. And don't forget, Brother Isa, that the Sunnahfollowers call in and ask Sister Layla live is today too. Okay, so now for the rest of you, you're going to see me in my PowerPoint. Let me set it up. Wal Bara. Okay. Let me click it. I'm going to make a big screen for everybody. And now I'm getting ready to go big screen for myself. 2, 3, 1. Okay, this is me. All right, guys, let's get this set up so y'all can see it big screen. So today, and those are the pages. I want everybody to take a screenshot. Take a screenshot because this is the first page, which tells us what pages we're covering. Pages 342 to 345, and we're going to speak about upholding justice and fairness, because that's what Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid goes into detail about in these pages here. So screenshot that. And now I'm going to go to the second one. Don't screenshot till I put all the PowerPoint up. Okay. We start off with this verse of the Quran where Allah says, in the interpretation of the meaning. And by the way, one of the new shahadas, she asked me, she said, Layla, why do you always say in the interpretation of the meaning? The reason why I say that is because the Quran was not revealed in English. English did not even exist back in those days. Arabic is a language totally different from English. And even though we read the Quran in English, you're not really getting the true understanding of it because a lot of the words are incorrect. Okay? But it's the best we can do. So when you hear me say, in the interpretation of the meaning, I mean exactly that. I'm giving you the interpretation of the meaning, of the true meaning. Okay? So that's why I say that. Well, in this verse, Allah says, obey Allah and obey the messenger and obey those charged with authority amongst you. This is a powerful verse. And this verse sets the whole theme of what we will be discussing today. And this verse, this one verse here, it can apply today because there's so much fitna going on amongst the Muslims today. On YouTube, men fighting each other, calling each other the kafir word and stuff about obey Allah and obey his messenger and obey those charged with authority amongst you. Let's talk about it. We have to understand the Islamic principles of justice and fairness require us as Muslims to be supportive of those who are oppressed. Also, we're supposed to be supportive and resist oppression. However, just like we talked about blind following, we don't blindly follow no scholars. Where we also do not exhibit blind obedience either. Blind obedience to oppressive regimes, whether through financial help or military help. blind obedience to oppressive regimes, which includes remaining silent in the face of human rights violations or actively participating in the oppression of the people. All of this goes against the principles of allegiance and disassociation in Islam, guys. So if you have a ruler or a leader that is being oppressive, we don't blindly obey them. Excessive obedience to rulers, even if they oppress the Muslim community, it contradicts the principles of justice and fairness. Remember, guys, Allah, He is just. He is Adil. We did that name last week. Allah is Adil. Okay? Oppression will be a darkness on the day of judgment. Allah hates any who oppresses his creation. So as Muslims, we are only required to obey our rulers if our rulers are ruling justly and fairly, and their actions are in sync with Islam's principles. But at the same time, when it comes to speaking out against them, and this is where the youth lose it today, because we do have some oppressive Islamic rulers. You look at many of the Muslim lands today, their rulers are extremely oppressive. We don't obey them if they're telling us to do things that contradict Islam. For example, in some of the Muslim lands, they are allowing women to call the adhan, women to lead the men in prayer. This is oppressive. We don't obey them in that. We're not going to go to the mosque and pray behind some woman. If you a man, if some woman calls the adhan, you're going to recall it yourself in your home. If you a man, subhanallah. But when it comes to speaking out, this is where we lose it. We have to weigh the benefits and the harms of speaking out. Does everybody understand? Because sometimes when we speak out against the evil, we cause more harm than good. And I was talking about this yesterday with a Muslim sister. She was telling me about how the Muslims around her, some of her Muslim acquaintances, they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. They're saying things they shouldn't say. So she feels upon herself to try to correct them. And every time she corrects them, they end up fighting and arguing and cutting each other off. So that's when I told her, no, you got to know when to hold and know when to fold. Sometimes we cause more harm speaking out. Because when it comes to speaking out, there are certain things we have to take into consideration. Number one, are they going to listen to you? Do your friends look at you as being on their level or lower than them or higher than them? If they look at you as being on their level or lower than them, they're not going to accept what you have to say. So you have to weigh the odds. What makes you think they're going to listen to you? They know all the secrets about you. You're in their mind, you're nobody to tell them anything. So we have to weigh that. You checking them will cause them to turn against you. So again, this is what the young Muslim men of today need to understand. You brothers like to get on YouTube and speak out against Muslim rulers. Call them out their name, call them kafir and all of that. You go too far. Okay? You're causing more damage, more harm than good. So, in the case of oppressive rulers, oppressive leaders, we have to assess the potential benefits and the harms of speaking out, and then take action based on that. Weigh the cons and weigh the pros. If it's going to cause more bad reaction, then keep your mouth shut and move to the next level. Remember, what's the next level? Hate it in your heart. Hate it in your heart means make dua. So say, for example, I live in a Muslim country, and my Muslim ruler not only has women calling the adhan and leading the men in prayers, but he's doing all other kind of stuff. But also there's no freedom of speech. If I speak out, I'm going to go to jail. Because a lot of these countries, the only country really that has freedom of speech is America. That's the honest to God truth. America is as close as you're going to get to freedom of speech. And even in America, there's a limit to that, because America has the Patriot Act. Even though you're free to say what you want to say, you put a target on you in America, and they're going to tap you and watch you and follow you. But that's the only country that allows that freedom. So you need to weigh the cons and pros. If I speak out, I could be in prison. If I speak out, my family can be harmed. So it's best for me to just shut up and instead make dua. Make dua, asking Allah to bring about righteousness. Y'all understand? And that's the same with imams too, here in America. So this verse of the Quran is often cited in discussions of obedience to rulers. And that verse emphasizes the importance of obeying Allah and his prophet first. We don't take the words or the rules of anyone over Allah and his messenger. The people of authority, they must follow the Islamic principles in order to deserve obedience. If they don't, then as Muslims, we must stand up against their oppression. We must support those who are being oppressed, even if it means speaking out. But again, weigh the odds of that. In America, I could speak out. In America, I can speak out against injustices. But I can't do that in Saudi Arabia. I'm going to jail. My family too. We still don't know what happened to Sheikh Munajid. I really like Sheikh Munajid. You guys don't know. I love Sheikh Munajid. I'll never forget when I made Hajj. The man I was married to, the old man, he said, there he is. And when I saw Sheikh Munajid, it was the best part of my Hajj. And Sheikh Munajid gave me some words. He said, keep the dawah strong. Sister, don't ever allow what the people say to cause you to deviate away from Quran wa Sunnah. He said, stick to the truth and never let them see you sweat. That's what he basically told me. In Arabic, of course, but you know, the man translated it. But to this day, we don't know what happened to Sheikh Munajid. We don't know if he's dead or alive, because they arrested all the scholars. They arrested all the scholars of Saudi. They put some of them to death. So I don't know what happened. So in a country like that, you don't have that freedom to speak out, or you're going to end up missing it and nobody know where you are. Okay? But the principle still remains the same, guys. You know, we don't support them in their oppression. If I can't speak out, I'm going to find other ways, you know, to speak against what they're doing by other means. But again, we have to weigh the pros and cons. Let me give another example. And by the way, screenshot this. Y'all screenshot all this. But I'm going to try to explain all of this. Okay, most of you listening to me are not in Saudi Arabia. You live in America and the United Kingdom. I got people listening in South Africa. I got people listening in Australia and Malaysia, you know, places like that. For the people living in America, the Western world, Australia, America, UK, our rulers are not Muslim. We're in non-Muslim countries, okay? Their laws are their laws. We respect their laws. But what about in our communities, our Islamic communities? There may be the imam of the masjid. Maybe the imam of the masjid is oppressive. Maybe he's doing things that he shouldn't do, or he's saying things that he shouldn't say. We stand up for what's truthful, guys, and what's right. We don't support them. We don't obey them. If the imam is telling you to take off your hijab, for example, let me talk about it. I always go back to 9/11. I'll never forget 9/11. Boy, the Muslims in America were running around like a chicken without a neck, without a head. We had some imams telling the women in their communities to take off their hijabs. I couldn't believe it. I remember I came on here on this internet and I told all the Muslims, I said, you better not think to take off a hijab. You better not think to remove your niqab either if you wear niqab. We don't compromise our deen. Okay? So in cases like that, your imam is telling, well, the imam told us the imam ain't nobody. Who is he? He ain't nobody but some lame man. You're going to disobey Allah. Where did Allah say, take off your hijab? Did the prophet's wives take off their hijabs when they were fighting the battle of Uhud and the other battles? No. This is the time to prove your faith to Allah. And maybe Allah will send us victory. Okay? So that's an example. For those of us living in the West, the imam of your masajid tells you to do something that contradicts what Allah says, that's oppressive to the Muslims or others, and we don't obey him in that. But does that mean that we go around and talk about him like a dog? That's the question. Because that's where we transgress the limits here. If there's an imam who's propagating something that we don't agree with it, how should we handle it? Should we go around, broadcasting him to everybody, warning and calling him a kafir, an innovator, a deviator? No. There's certain procedures that we have to follow as Muslims here in the West. If an imam is telling you something that's wrong, then you should have the people of knowledge sit down with him, talk with him, because maybe he doesn't know any better. Okay? But for you to just jump up and start calling the man a kafir and going around to other masajids, cussing him out, slandering his character, talking about his wife, talking about his family. No. There's a procedure we follow. You can lead a community if you want. But before you start speaking out, there's other procedures you should follow. Because you'd be surprised how uneducated most of these imams really are in America. Y'all think that they're scholars. I keep telling y'all ain't no scholars here. Okay? These are just leaders, men that know how to lead you in prayer. They probably don't know. So again, when it comes to speaking out against rulers, we weigh the cons and pros. Always go to the people of knowledge. My thing is, let the people of knowledge handle them. That's what I tell the people. If you got a problem with your imam, with your masjid's board and all of that, take it to the people of knowledge. Have someone come in to arbitrate. I remember last year, they were having problems in an Islamic community in North Carolina. one of the best masjids. And I remember they called Sheikh Atlee. Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atlee went there to mediate and to arbitrate. I like how they handled that. They had Sheikh Atlee come in, as an outsider, to navigate through what their problems were and to, tell them the correct way it should be done and all that. That's the best way to do that, rather than going out slandering the poor man who probably didn't know any better. Okay? Again, Islam emphasizes allegiance to Allah, allegiance to the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and allegiance to each other. We're one nation. We worship one Allah, okay? And we disassociate from those who oppose Islam, those who oppose Allah, those who oppose the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's how we're supposed to be. But unfortunately, guys, we got some weak Muslims out there. Because you disassociate from those who oppose Islam, they want to call you an extremist, which is what we talked about yesterday. Because that brother refuses to sit in the company of the innovators, you want to label him an extremist. Because that sister refuses to sit in the company of those who do wrong. Moderators, please do take care of that. Because a sister refuses to sit in the company of people who do wrong, you want to label her as an extremist. This is wrong, guys. And this was the fitna that we encountered here in America in the early 2000s. Okay? Labeling people as being terrorists and extremists because I refuse to participate in those conferences that are being held by people who are known to have ideologies that contradict Islam. Or you want to label this community an extremist community because they refuse to participate in interfaith. That was the thing back in after 9/11. That interfaith boy was off the hooks. So this type of extremism goes against the principles of allegiance and disassociation, guys. As Muslims, we have to foster unity, cooperation, and respect amongst each other. And we also cooperate with the non-Muslims too, as long as it doesn't entail something haram or something that contradicts our ideology. Everybody understand that? Again, Islam is all about balance. It's all about balance. As Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, Allah does not forbid you to deal justly and kindly with those who did not fight against you on account of your religion and who did not drive you out of your homes. So again, guys, even with the non-Muslims, we work with them, we cooperate with them, even though their belief system contradicts ours, as long as what we do with them is not an action that compromises or contradicts our morality or ideology. Everybody understand that? Take a screenshot of this page. Okay? As Muslims, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're pledging our allegiance to Allah, to his prophet, to his religion, to each other. And we love our faith, and we will strive with our lives, if needed, to uphold our beliefs. But even though we do that, even though we strive with our lives, we are not encouraged to hate or be hostile towards people who have different beliefs. Y'all understand that? This is what the non-Muslims fear about us. When they hear us say we believe in Allah and we're willing to sacrifice our lives for him, they like, terrorists getting ready to drop a bomb. No, no, no. Our Lord comes first, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be hostile towards you. I'm going to treat you with kindness. I'm going to treat you with justice, even though your belief is different than mine. As long as you don't try to fight me, as long as you don't try to keep me from worshiping my Lord the way I worship him. Y'all understand that? And that's the dawah that you want to give to the non-Muslims, to your neighbors, to your co-workers, to your college classmates. Yes, I'll die for what I believe in. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be hostile towards you because you don't share my belief. I'm going to treat you with the kindness and justice you deserve, as long as you don't try to prevent me from believing what I believe. Everybody understand that? People get afraid to say that, and I don't know why. They hear me. I remember when I say words like that, I used to have brothers would say, "Oh, Sister Layla, you're a little bit too harsh. You're a little bit too strong in your dawah. You're saying, oh, you'll die for what you believe in. You shouldn't use words like that." Why not? Who said I can't use words like that? It's the truth. I'll die for what I believe in. But that don't mean that I'm going to be hostile to someone who doesn't believe what I believe in. Subhanallah. Censor. Don't try to censor a believer. Subhanallah. So now let's see how well you guys understood what I was talking about today. Of course, as always, we got a quiz. Hello. Wake up. Smell the coffee. And God knows I order me a Starbucks before it's too late. Here's the first question. I only got 2 questions today. The ruler of a Muslim country has been making decisions that seem shady and supportive of those who many view to be enemies of the Muslims. What should you do? This is a question of fiqh. You live in a country and your ruler is Muslim and he's making decisions that seem to be shady and supportive of other than Muslims. What should you do in a case like that? And by the way, I'm trying to put it down so I can show y'all me. Where am I at? What should you do? Zoomers. Here I come. Here I come, people. Anybody? What should you do? The Muslim ruler, he's making rules and laws that seem kind of shady. They seem to be kind of in support of our enemies. What should you do?
Well, he needs to be advised by those that know, because apparently he doesn't understand everything. So if I knew, I would try to get in the scholars to go there and mediate, talk with him, negotiate with him, to help him to understand that what he's doing is not quite correct.
Okay, what if you live in a country? That's good. That's good for America.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you're in a Muslim country? Muslim countries don't allow anybody, just can't go and talk to the ruler.
I know.
So what would you do in that case?
I think in that case, you would keep your mouth shut so you won't go to jail or get killed or two. And if you can't say anything about it, then hate it in your heart.
And what does hate it in your heart mean? How do I hate it in my heart?
Hate it, pray about it. Take it to Allah.
Okay. Anybody else? Y'all agree with their answers? Exactly. You can make dua. It's when you do nothing that you guys have a problem. That's when we do nothing. What did Ibn Masud say in the hadith that we went over before? He said, don't be like the walking dead. Who are the walking dead? They see the fitna, they see the oppression, they see the wrong, and they do nothing at all. They just sit there and say, myself, myself, myself. You don't want to be like that. At least make dua against it. At least pray and say, oh Allah, bring relief to us. You don't want to be like many people were during the time of Saddam Hussein. Oh, I can talk about that because I know some people that was directly involved in that nonsense over there. A lot of the Muslims just let Saddam Hussein do what he want. They didn't stop him. They didn't challenge him. They just cared about myself, myself, myself. So look what happened. Allah took him down. Okay? But there were some Muslims who did do something. They couldn't speak out verbally because they'd be killed. They couldn't write letters because they'd be executed. But they prayed and they prayed and they prayed for the day that Allah would send his vengeance. Okay? But for those who did nothing, they fell with him. But for those who prayed against it, Allah sent his relief and victory. So again, it's when we fail to do anything that Allah will punish us all. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it's when we fail to do anything at all, to stop the evil, to stop the oppression. That's when Allah will destroy us all. And then he'll raise us up and judge us individually. Everybody got that? Good job. Good answer. So if you're living in a country like that, you know, if speaking out may not be good, because if you speak up out, you're going to end up like Sheikh Munajid, who nobody knows what happened. I talked to one of my cousins the other day. I said, any news on Sheikh Munajid? I'm always asking about him. And my cousin, he's saying, Layla, we think he did. Nobody's heard anything. Last we knew, he had lost 200 pounds. The last we saw him, he was in a wheelchair. That was years ago. I think 2018 or something, or 16. He said he was in a wheelchair. Nobody recognized him because he was thin and his health was bad. He looked horrible. That's the last time anybody over here seen him. Ain't seen him since. Okay, so you can't speak out. You can't write fatwas against it. Can't write fatwas against it. So you can make dua and pray and pray and pray that Allah sends relief. Everybody understand? Okay, next question. Look at the next question I got for you guys. Give me a second to put it back up. Wait a minute. Y'all know I have a hard time flipping this screen. I go here. Give me a second. Where I'm supposed to click on now? This right here. Allow. And then I click right here. There you go. Okay, let me make a big screen for you. Okay, here it is. Y'all can see this. There is an Islamic speaker whose ideas you believe are not correct. You also believe that his dawah approach is not correct. You also believe that he may be bad for this ummah to listen to. So you don't think nobody should ever hear him. So you want to stop his dawah. You feel it needs to be stopped. What should you do? Who can answer this one? What do y'all think? This is a good question of fiqh.
So we have boards here in the United States. So we would probably take him to the board and ask the board to sit down and talk to him and ask him why he's doing what he's doing and did he need any more education on the deen. And we're going to start right there with that, taking him to the board and having them talk to him and see why he's doing what he's doing with his deen.
Y'all agree with that? Just go right to the board?
Yeah, I would agree with her, and also add that most of the masjids here in the United States, they have their own board of directors because they ratify these imams to come in. They vote them in. So yeah, I would definitely agree with her. You need to take him to the authority as to where he's teaching.
Okay. Anyone else see a problem with this answer?
You have to weigh the pros and the cons and the pros and the cons with that, because maybe he doesn't even care about what the board is going to say. He might not even want to even listen to them. So basically, you would either have to go through the steps. If the speaking out against him is going to basically make more harm than good, then you have to go through the steps. And if you can't write about it or do anything, then pray about it, just like the first thing that they said.
I would say that you would speak to him first to find out where his head is at and why he has these ideologies. And if that doesn't work, then I'll take the steps that the other sisters said.
Wow. Hold on. Rashida, that was you last, right?
That's correct. It was me.
One of my better students. Okay. Y'all got me choked up on them answers because this is what happens to the masajids here in America. You will listen to a speaker whose ideas you believe are not correct. You will listen to a speaker and believe that their dawah is not correct. In other words, what they're saying and their style. And you will listen to that person because you don't think that person's correct. You think he's bad. And so then you feel like you got to shut him down. That's how Americans act. Now I'm going to give y'all a real live scenario. And I want y'all to think about it and answer it now. Let's put a name to it. There's an Islamic speaker, Mina. Her name is lailanasheeba, whose ideas your community believe are not correct. You believe that she's called herself a prophet, a messenger. You also believe her voice is too loud, that she don't know what she's talking about. You believe that she's bad for this ummah because of her loud voice and the way she look, and because she calling herself a prophet. So you believe no one should listen to her. You want to shut her down. Now tell me what you would do, Mina. Everybody drop this is real life. This really happened. I put a name to it. How should it be addressed now that y'all got a real name to it? A real person, lailanasheeba. Y'all believe her ideas are not correct. Y'all believe she's going around calling herself a prophet, a messenger of Allah. Her dawah is wrong because she's loud. Look at how she looked. She's bad. She's destroying people's homes. No one should listen. You feel the need to stop her dawah. What do you do now?
I'll speak out about it for the simple fact that's their opinion. And you always have to basically speak out for what's truth and what's right.
She missed a big point. Y'all skipping over number 1.
Okay.
What's the first thing you should do, guys?
Defend her.
How can you defend somebody? Listen, there is an Islamic speaker whose ideas you believe are not correct. You believe her dawah is not correct. You believe she's called herself a prophet. What's the first thing you do?
Check her evidence.
There you go. And that's the way that community should have handled it.
Exactly.
That's the way that community should have handled it. And I'm still pissed about that community not handling it the way they were supposed to. How are you going to sit there? First of all, where's your proof? Where's the proof that she called herself a prophet? That's what I did. When the people called themselves approaching me, I got pretty pissed off. I'm like, boy, drop a bomb on them. They better be cool. I got brothers. Okay? First of all, get your facts straight. And that's what we don't do in America. In America, we cut each other down. Muslim daya, brothers and sisters, not just me, but others too, have been attacked, slandered, cursed out based on somebody's ignorance because you don't know the truth, because you don't know that a woman can wear makeup, because you don't know what a messenger is. A messenger is not just a prophet of Allah. Look up the meaning of the word in the dictionary. A messenger is a person that conveys a message to a person. Because you're ignorant. You believe something. You should have investigated first. That's where we lose it as a nation. And that's what the prophet warned against, guys. He said our nation, our ummah would divide and separate and kill each other because we don't even do the investigation. Because we find a person saying the truth, and the truth is so strange. The truth is so strange because that person is saying something that we never heard before. We're going to slander that person. We're going to cut that person down when we should have investigated the facts. Rashida's answer was the closest. In a case like that, you got an Islamic imam or person in your community, you need to first go talk to the person. Maybe that person knows something that you don't know. Good job, Rashida. Ask that person, is it true that a woman can wear makeup? Can you show me where you get that from, sister? Is it true that a woman can wear pants? Can you show me? Is it true? Approach the person and with your evidence. First of all, the burden of proof is on you. The burden of proof is on the person making the allegation. You come to me with proof that I did these things. You come to me with proof that I'm going against the Quran and Sunnah. And most of us, if we followed the first step, we'd go somewhere and sit down. Because most of us who are quick to attack other people, we're ignorant as heck. We don't know even how to pray properly. Y'all understand? That's the problem we have in America with masajids. Because somebody is teaching something that you never heard before because you don't know your deen correctly. rather than you learn from that person, listen to that person. Especially if the person's using PowerPoint, but I forgot, we can't read either. You shut up and investigate. Everybody understand? What do y'all think about that answer?
It's important to go ahead and investigate, because a lot of people have their own personal quarrels with people, that have knocked people out, that have demeaned them, brought their character out of them. So it's very important for us when we're, accusing people to be very wary of who we're accusing and what we're accusing them with. And it's always important to have the proof. The proof is everything. And people are getting so comfortable just saying anything out their mouth because maybe they don't like the person's skin color, eye color, or just, their eyebrows are not a certain way. So we got to be careful.
And one of the biggest things I get, what's one of the biggest slanders I get? Oh, her voice is loud. Yeah. Then what do they do when I pull the verse of the Quran? Allah says, "Oh, ye women who believe, do not soften your voice when you speak publicly." That's a sin in Islam, guys. It's haram. It ain't haram for a woman to wear makeup. Show me the verse if it is. It ain't haram for a woman to show her face. But it is haram for a woman to make her voice soft and quiet publicly. She better speak like Layla. The way I speak, this is how Khadijah spoke. This is how Salama spoke. This is how Fatima spoke. They didn't walk around with no soft voices. Hello, the men wouldn't have respected them anyway. So I tell them, you people are twisted. You ain't used to hearing a woman like me. Y'all used to listening to those women with those soft voices trying to pick you up and seduce you with those fake accents. Oh, you ain't getting that. My soft voice, my voice is soft when I'm at home. But you will never hear it. My husband will. Oh, I got a beautiful French accent mixed with a little bit of Arabic. It's Creole. You will never hear it. My husband will. Okay. So that's what the point. In America, we're good at condemning people, casting each other out, calling them kafir, kicking them to the side, because it's something that we've never heard, because maybe we never think maybe that person knows something I don't know. That person's older than me. My God, that's what got me. My thing is, I'm 60-something years old. You ain't but 30. Maybe I know something that you don't know. I've been giving dawah since I was 12. You just started 2 years ago. Maybe I know more than you. I learned from real scholars. My teachers came from Egypt. They were known men of the ulama. You learn from the hood rat, the neighborhood hood rat. Maybe I know something you don't know. But we don't do that. We're just condemned because of jealousy, arrogance, and all of that. And the same with the Muslims in the United Kingdom. And the Muslims, the sister here said they do it in South Africa too. In the Western world, that's what we're good at.
In the Western world, they would rather believe a lie than believe the truth.
That's what the sister in South Africa is typing now. Yep, that's the same thing here, Layla.
Yeah, and I want to add, the reason why it's best for people to check their evidence when people say something is because when you start something like that in a community, you are going to be responsible for all the rest of the people who slandered that person. It's all those sins, everything you did and said about that sister or brother, it's going to come right back to you. That punishment is going to be extreme. So definitely check the evidence before they start slandering people.
Exactly. And that's something that we learned from our prophet when they did the same thing to his wife, Aisha. Oh, they accused. Did y'all know that they used to say, "Oh, prophet of Allah, when you leave the house, Aisha has men coming in right after you." They accused her of having sex all the time. They slandered Aisha so badly. They hated her. Like I told y'all, they hated her more than they did Umar. She's the most hated of all the companions because she was a brilliant woman. A brilliant woman. So they called her a witch, a prostitute, and they still slander her to this day. They hate her. Okay? So that's why Allah sent all those verses down. Verify your information. Somebody come to you talking about somebody, especially if it's a person of knowledge. That brother been around for years. He wouldn't be around it if those things were true. You would think common sense would say, wow, if that person is calling himself a prophet, if that person is doing all that, then how the hell she been around since 1986 and ain't nobody took her out? I mean, you would think that. But people, we're stupid. We're too stupid. And this is the West. In the Muslim countries, they walk around like zombies, like Ibn Masud said, myself. Then in the Western countries, we quick to take you out. Oh no, she's a slanderer, this is an innovator, this, that, oh, she going to hell. Always the extreme right or the extreme left. We never get that balance, guys. We never find that balance. And that's something that we have to work on. Islam is about balance, justice, and balance. That justice is balanced. All right, I'm going to stop